Today we're going to be talking about the most pointless 5 stars in the game. So if you're a new or returning player, you might want to pay attention. If you roll even one copy of one of these characters, you've bricked your account and you might as well uninstall. I'm just kidding. First off, Carcello. Sorry Carcello mains, I have a friend who's a big Carcello main, and these guys take the character very seriously, but y'all know it's true. Carcello is a bit of a new player trap. Out of all the standard banner characters, you're gonna look at him and think, God damn, look at this sexy flexy ass Sephiroth looking ass. He's mogging the hell out of these 2 children, a female Neji ripoff, and I don't even know, let's not even discuss this guy. Clearly, he mods the whole cast. You pick this guy and you realize he's actually kind of trash. He's pretty much the Diluc of Wuthering Waves. He starts off very cool, very strong, but gets outclassed by pretty much every other DPS that's come out after him. The sad thing is he actually has the potential to do a shit ton damage, especially if you pair him with Linné. Apparently he can be as strong as 3.0 characters currently in the game, even though he's a 1.0 character, which is like insane given the power creep. The issue is you gotta sweat to get that damage. And I don't even mean just normal sweating. I mean like I play Elden Ring with a touchpad type of sweating. To make this character work, you gotta do a ridiculous amount of combo cancels and animation cancels. You have to fish for these things called Deathbringers. I don't exactly know what it is. It has to do with your forte, but Carcello mains go on and on about this. If you talk to them, all they talk about is Deathbringer this, Deathbringer that. I don't get it, but anyway. Yes, Carcello technically has tons of DPS, but nobody's playing him like that. Just admit it. You're not playing him like that. I'm not playing him like that. Your mom is not playing him like that. The only people playing him like that are those tryhard YouTubers that just post Tower of Adversity runs. Now this character I love to death, Kung Fu Lady, Zhang Xin, was my favorite character in the game because I rolled her on the early standard banner when I was new, and she was super OP at like level 1. She had a shield, she had heals, she did damage. I was just tanking everything in the game. Early game, emphasis on early. I felt invincible, but then I realized this character is a jack of all trades and a master of none. Her shield takes forever to charge, she heals slowly, and she does no damage. Probably needs a buff more than any other character in the game. Apparently if you get her to like C5 or some shit, she becomes sorta useful. I don't really know. You can kinda turn her into a free-to-play Hiyuki sub DPS, but you're gonna need all the right equipment, like a R5 4-star weapon, and I just wouldn't recommend it. Kuro, please buff this character. Next we got Ling Yang. I don't even know why I'm dedicating part of this video to this character. This character literally exists to ruin your 50-50. I don't know what Kuro Games was thinking when they designed this character. It must have been early in the development phase. He's like an uncool version of Inuyasha, and Inuyasha is so, like, the kids don't even know Inuyasha. I don't know who this guy appeals to. I don't even think furries like this character. If you're randomly happen to be a furry watching this video, let me know, does this character do it for you? I don't think so. He's taking up a crowd slot, and we need all the crowd characters we can get. He's cooked. Funny enough, it would be hilarious if Lucilia buffs this character. I'm wondering if Lucilia will buff crowd characters, and maybe it'll be a funny video if somebody built this guy. If nobody does it, I will, just for the memes. If you guys give me more than 50 likes, I'll build Ling Yang and use him with Lucilia. Totally not trolling, totally not lying. Next character is Jinxie. This hurts me a lot as a Jinxie main. I wasted a lot of pulls on this character, and that was on a rerun. She wasn't even meta when I got her. She just feels terrible to play, guys. Yes, she can do like hundreds of thousands of damage, but the caveats, guys. To get her to work, you need a sub DPS that does coordinate damage, buffs Resonator skill, and is not the same element. And sure, you can use Cantarella or Jeja, but I don't even know if they're like her best in slot team. I just don't know what they were smoking when they made this character. Also, an underrated issue with this character, if you've ever been a Jinxie main, is fishing for crits. The amount of times I've had to restart towers because this character just wouldn't crit. I even made a 100% crit build, and I had not enough crit damage. So it was still trash. Justice for Jinsei. Please buff Jinsei. At this point, I'm just hoping that the Cyberpunk collab buffs Jinsei. I don't know. I'm losing my mind with this character. Rosha, I think that's how you say her name, is the true definition of a pointless character. She was made for mono Havoc team with Farlova and Cantarella, but Kuyon mods the hell out of her, and he's a limited character. Why wouldn't you just get him? He has way more uses. He's just way more OP. Also, she's a basic attack buffer and a Havoc buffer. She was made to buff Camellia, who's never going to rerun again anyway. And apparently Sanwa, a 4-star, is better in that team because her rotation's quicker. On top of that, she's a lolly. I'm thankful that they made her kit really bad because Kuro took the feedback and said, y'all don't like lolly characters? And we were like, yes, we do not. Don't ever make a character that looks like this in this game again. Save that for the ZZZ player. That being said, I actually do think her design looks nice. I just wish she was like older. Like imagine an older Rosia. That would actually be a cool looking character. I've probably offended some people and like, I don't know. Moving on. Yinlin. Man, I'm glad this list is not in order because Yinlin has got to be the #1 most useless character in this game. She buffs Electro, but Electro characters are kind of useless in this game besides Augusta, and Augusta doesn't need no Electro boost. Augusta can do it by herself. She buffs Liberation, but I'm pretty sure Linnae just completely overtakes her in that area. She's a 1.0 character, so as far as Kuro Games feels, these characters don't exist. She does barely any damage, and a lot of her damage is single target, coordinated damage, but she doesn't buff Resident Skill, so I don't need her as a Jinsei main. But at least her weapon is one of the best rectifiers in the game. Oh, and apparently her gameplay feels really clunky too. I mean, I joined the game at 2.0 and I did not know this character even existed for the longest time. I've never seen anybody pull this character out of their roster, even for fun. Like, this has got to be one of the most pointless characters in the game. Now, Zhang Liao is weird because he's not exactly bad, but he's not needed either. He's a better version of Carcello in almost every way, except he's also still pointless. Strong liberation damage, he can pretty much slow-mo the enemy, which is cool. Flashy gameplay. The issue is his damage is just alright, and he doesn't really support or fit into any meta teams. He's just a dude that does damage. Like, he's very good for quick swapping, pretty flexible sub DPS, but he's just not needed anywhere that much really. And it almost feels like fighting an uphill battle in the new meta playing this character. He's just a mediocre character, plain and simple. Plus he's a dude, so nobody likes him in this community. Cantarella isn't a useless character, but she feels like she doesn't have a purpose. She's kind of like Zhang Liao in that regard. Like, she's technically Farlova's best sub DPS, but Farlova is extremely flexible and you could pretty much replace this with any character. Pretty much any character that does decent sub DPS and also buffs Farlova will get the job done almost just as good or the same as Cantarella. She does do coordinated damage and is a resident skill buffer, so she can be helpful for people like Jinsei or Carlotta if you don't have a Zhezha. I guess she could be used on some Havoc teams, but I was genuinely hoping when I got this character she would be the Havoc version of Shorekeeper, and she's not. Honorary mention has to go to Zani. Yes, sorry Zani mains, you didn't make it through the video, I had to do it to you. Technically speaking, Zani does do damage, but she's a limited banner character that you have to use your resources for. Not to mention you have to pull Phoebe just to make her competent, because Phoebe has a mechanic called Spectral Frazzle, and Zani is literally useless without it. Like, you cannot play Zani without Spectral Frazzle. There's a free-to-play rover that will do it for you, but he's useless. You need Phoebe to compete. So you need two characters that only interact with each other, because Phoebe's low-key doesn't really work well with anybody else. On paper they do, but Spectral Frazzle for some reason only works well with Zani and Phoebe. So they're attached to the hip, you can't use them with barely any other teams. And on top of it all, you have to sweat like crazy and get good artifacts to make her compete with other teams. You can't play her normally, you have to quick swap. If you don't know what that is, it's a long story, but it's an exploit of a game mechanic you have to do just to make her competitive with other units. On top of it all, you gotta spend an arm and a leg to get these two characters. Utter trash. I'm just kidding, Zani mates, don't kill me. So I don't think I missed anybody. Let me know if you have any objections or I missed anything. I feel like I should have put Camellia here, but I don't know much about the character. Maybe she's OP. I don't really know. Wasn't around during 1.0. And you know how Curl Games doesn't rerun these characters. That's all I gotta say. Peace.